difficulties there, man. YouTube was acting up a bit, but we're on. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there, man. Let me see, what are we? 13 minutes late, 14 minutes late. I don't like that. I like to be on time. I'm very punctual. At least I try to be. And I know some of you guys will probably laugh at that and say, well, we remember some times that you aren't. Yeah, I know it happens. But I try to be on time, man. I try to be on time. So my apologies for the delay. Give me just a second as well. Just make sure everything is up to par. Yep, everything's working. So how's everybody doing, man? I hope everybody is doing great. I hope everybody is safe. First and foremost, that's before anything else, man. I know we're football fans. We're Steelers fans, and we love our sports. But first and foremost, I hope everybody's being safe. Do what you can, man, to limit your interaction with those that you don't know. Even some that you do know. Even family. You never know what your younger cousin is doing. You never know what your older uncle is doing. So try to be responsible, man, and try to get your immune system where it needs to be. Drink your fluids, etc., etc. Just be safe, man. Please be safe during this whole coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak. So definitely got to start with that. But anyway, man, let me get into some shout outs. Saying what's up to the people early. My good brother Antoine is in the building, man. He's a Cowboys fan, but it doesn't matter. He supports me. I support him. So what's up to my brother Twan? We play you guys this year, so that should be cool. Michael Van Leer, Jordan Mid, Jason Winningham, Steve Williams, Mr. Abs, or Mr. ABS, Chandler Brown, Boulevard Ware, Ali Howard. Who else we got in here? Treginald Jones. What's up, Treginald? Michael Garmin, Droz Hill, Nays. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing? YBZ Resby, Patrick Covington Jr., Y Diggy, Cody, User Hitstick, Wade Johnson 1, and Black Hawk. And I guess we'll read the rest of them really quick here. Nah, it's too many to read. I'm sorry. Hello to all of you guys. Hello, Miss Debbie. We got to say hello to her, of course. I see my brother Kenyon in the building. Kegels, Bagels. And if I missed you guys, it's nothing personal, man. I know y'all don't want to hear me doing shout-outs the whole time. Y'all want me to jump right in. So let me say this too, man. I see Kenyon is in the queue. I don't know if my brother Tony is in the queue. But here's the funny thing, man. Every time I have something planned for you guys, the Steelers find a way to alter my plans. Y'all know we've been talking about coming on and talking about prospects for about 3 weeks now. But look at what happened in free agency. We got to address that. And I don't think it's fair to dedicate a show to prospects without going through all of this information in terms of free agency. All right, so I have not, told you guys a fib. I did watch some film. Didn't watch everybody yet, though, man. I watched probably about 6 or 7 guys, and here's the reason why. Once the free agency news came out, it changed my whole outlook on draft. And me and Kenyon talked via text, and I said, Kenyon, it's just like we said before, he said it to me as well. There's no doubt in my mind right now it's going to be best pick available, considering the moves that we made. And we're going to talk about those moves here. So we'll continue to watch film. What I actually will do from you guys tonight, once we end the show, I'll ask you guys to give me some names that you want me to take a look at. I did look at the Rager kid. I forget which one of you guys asked me to watch him, the receiver from TCU. Woo! I'm going to talk a little bit about him tonight, but I did watch him. Definitely took a look at my guy Cam Akers. I looked at J.K. Dobbins. Who else did I watch, man? A few other guys. What's the kid? Help me out, Kenyon. UCLA, the cornerback, man. His name slips me right now, but I just watched his film the other day. I got to watch a few more full games of his, but I like what I see out of him. Somebody help me out with him, man. I know Kenyon knows his name. And shout outs to Antoine. I know the applause will kick in a minute, but he says Javon Hargrave, that's kind of big. Fullback was a good pickup for you guys. Artie Burns gone for y'all as well. Didn't think that would happen. Yep, so I knew the Artie Burns situation was going to happen. We're going to talk about that in a minute as well. Appreciate that. Myron as well with the donation, man. Myron Sanders. Got to say shouts out to him as well. And again, like my good brother Twan, appreciate you guys with the early donations. And all right, Kenyon said he'll tell me in a minute, but I forget the kid's name, man. Gosh, I can't remember his name. What is it, man? Hold on. I'm going to find it. I just watched it the other day. Darnay Holmes. Yeah, Darnay Holmes. Yeah. I like what I see about him, but I'll get into that in a minute. But all right, man, let me stop yapping and get to the action. Either way, you can expect another steel table coming your way. We'll somewhat postpone it again and say next week, even though we did it last week. I want to dedicate a full show to just talking about prospects and allow Kenyon to do his thing. As you guys know, as well as I do, Kenyon is crazy with it, man, when it comes to the scouting. You know, he's probably much better than I am in terms of the scouting part, because Kenyon knows these guys well in advance. You know, I'm pretty good with watching film and giving my assessment, but Kenyon is on top of it. Like, he knows a bunch of players that I have no idea, but he'd be like, yo, you need to watch this guy. So I want to dedicate a full show to allow him to do his thing. So let's say next week. And the reason why, again, we got a lot of donations coming in here, man. Thank you guys for that. Appreciate it. Let me pause a minute and let the applause get out of the way. All right, and he says it's Aries season. Absolutely, man. Aries in the building. So let me say this again really quick, man. Guys, if you want to donate, you can do it right here in the chat, man. If you don't know how, you can ask one of these guys. If you prefer to do it outside of YouTube, I do have a Cash App option. I do have a PayPal option. If you feel like doing that, it's in the description. There's my information. And thank you to those who've already done that. You know, I can't never stress that enough. People are always doing that, so I always got to show love there. All right, so again, the reason why I'm going to wait one more week before we really dive into the prospects is because, look, lo and behold, the Steelers have made some moves that is going to alter this draft, especially number 49. But before we do that, let's talk about some other news really quick in terms of the Steelers. Let me pull up my thing here, my topics. First and foremost, Artie Burns signs with the Chicago Bears. Yes, folks, Artie Burns is now a Chicago Bear, an ex-first round pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know some of you guys were asking, did he get cut? Did he get released? No. And I'm not going to make fun of you guys, but come on, man, you got to know your team. You guys should know that this was Artie Burns' 4th season that he just finished. There was no need to cut or release, because why? He played out his contract. It was over. Clearly, we weren't going to re-sign Artie Burns. We didn't pick up his 5th-year option when we had the chance to. The writing was on the wall. Artie Burns got benched. Steven Nelson got signed, and bada boom, bada bing. Right? Shouldn't have been a surprise. And again, I'm not going to pick on everybody, because I know not everybody is as detailed as some of us, but we follow every move that the Steelers do. But I'm going to pick with you a little bit. You should have known that Artie Burns was playing out his contract, and he didn't need to be cut or released. Same thing with Sean Davis. And Sean Davis signs with the Washington Redskins. Very interesting, man. I got a few friends that are Skins fans, some co-workers, you know, a couple guys I know from YouTube and things like that kind of asked me about Sean Davis, and I gave my quick assessment. I will share it with you guys, and I'll see if any of you guys agree. What I basically told him, man, was, listen, Sean Davis, I'm going to be fair to him and say maybe we haven't seen his best football. You know, he did shuffle a little bit with the Pittsburgh Steelers in terms of position. We all know when he first got drafted, we tried him out in the slot a little bit, and, you know, he ended up playing the majority of his time as strong safety. A lot of us didn't feel that great about him. A lot of us kind of feel the way that some of you guys feel about Edmonds, about Sean Davis, saying he wasn't a playmaker and things of that nature. He gets burned a lot, right? They made the switch. They moved him to a free safety. We started seeing a better Sean Davis, right? Still not great, but I think he played his best football at free safety. So here was my assessment of him. I said, look, I don't know if the book is closed on him yet. There may be some more chapters still there, but he's not a playmaker. At least we haven't seen it. His biggest attribute is he's athletic. You know, his athleticism is his biggest attribute. You know, he became an improved tackler. I still can't say he's a great tackler, because we know he still missed some, but he improved his tackling at free safety. And I said that, you know, he's not a rangy guy. He's not a ball skill type of guy. But he may be a serviceable safety if he's in the right situation. We'll see. Maybe it's worth taking a chance on him. He's still young. Think about it. Before we go crazy talking about Sean Davis, don't the Steelers do this a lot? Don't the Steelers like to get guys on their second contract and bring them in, see what they can do for them? That's pretty much what Sean Davis and Artie Burns, the position they're in. These guys are still young, mid-20s, only had one contract. Boom. This is the time to see, do they have anything left in the tank? So that was pretty much my assessment of Sean Davis. He may give you something. Don't expect him to be the big play guy. He may just be the guy that he ended up being for us late, his latter part. He may be a guy that can keep a lid on it, right? Don't expect him to make a lot of plays in ball coverage. Don't expect him to have ball skills. I don't know if you're going to see that, but he may be able to at least keep a lid on things. And that was my assessment. But I wish him success, man. I wish him and Artie Burns luck. I think the biggest thing with Artie Burns was his confidence, somewhat technique. I can also say somewhat not playing to his strength. And, we got to kind of blame the Steelers organization for that. And what I mean by that, Artie Burns, even in college, man, was a press corner. He was a press man guy. Artie Burns was not really the most cerebral cornerback. Okay, he wasn't the greatest zone, play a spot type of cornerback. And even at Miami, he was more of an in-your-face type of guy because he's, lengthy and rangy, had the speed. So maybe imagine if he went somewhere like, let's say Kansas City, where he could just play man the whole time. You never know. You might get a better Artie Burns. I still don't think Artie is that great, though. That's just me being fair and being honest. But listen, I'm going to wish these guys success. Wish them luck. It's never anything personal. These are young brothers, man, that, had the opportunity to play in the NFL, make a couple dollars. I wish them nothing but success. They just didn't work out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you're not going to hear me trash them and, nah. Congratulations to those guys getting a second opportunity. All right, so what else do we want to talk about really quick, man? The Steelers re-signed Jordan Dangerfield. Now, at first I had to go, ponder on that, but I understand why. We lose Tyler Medikevich. Jordan Dangerfield's biggest attribute pretty much has been his tackling ability. He's a thumper. He's been outstanding, or pretty good at least, on special teams for us. So it makes sense. When you're losing a special teams guy like a Medikevich, it makes sense to retain another guy who has been an integral part of your special teams. And it's only a one-year deal, so clearly they're letting you know what this is about. Come on and play with us. I think they signed him at the minimum, if I'm not mistaken, which has gone up because of the CBA. But they didn't spend a lot of money on him. Good special teamer. What the heck? Maybe he has to come in and play a series or so. But we know that's not the case because even last year we saw Cam Kelly was getting those, opportunities more so than a Jordan Dangerfield. So don't go crazy yet. Just understand that was a special teams move, and I don't have, a problem with that whatsoever. Now, let's talk about that Pittsburgh Steelers and free agency. Let's talk about that. So let's talk about the lesser, and I don't mean this as far as player, but, we understand there's degrees to signing, right? So we're going to start, and we talked a little bit about this last week, but we'll start with Derek Watt. I'll be really brief with him. And tonight I'm going to turn a lot of my attention over to the chat, man. I'm going to give you guys a huge amount of time in the chat. I do see that there is a call in the queue, area code 803. So if you can let me know if you're able to hear me in the queue, hopefully Blog Talk is on its game. And if I miss it, guys, please repeat what his response is, whoever that is listening, so I know that it's working and I can come to you guys via phone as well. But listen, man, seeing that now, that Rosie Nix, because I think when we talked, I want to say when we talked last week, on Terrible Towel, Rosie Nix was still on the roster. Rosie Nix has been released. You know what I mean? So I think maybe, okay, the queue is working. All right, appreciate that, Jason. I'm going to come to you in a minute. Yeah, let me get through the free agency guys, and then I'll come to the phone queue, and then we'll do it like that. I really think that Rosie might not have been all the way healthy. We have to take that into consideration. I know we briefly talked about it last week, but now that we know that he's released, it might have had something to do with the health. I'll be honest, I didn't check to see if Rosie has been signed by anybody else, so if he has, somebody can please definitely enlighten me on that. But that's my only thing. I think it had to have something to do with health. Rosie Nix was an outstanding special teams player for us. He was a thumper. I mean, whether he was defending kicks or at fullback. And clearly we loved Rosie Nix. And clearly the coaching, the staff liked Rosie Nix. Tomlin was a fan of Rosie Nix. Right? He played his way into a roster. So to see that he got released and we didn't hesitate to sign Derek Watt, it lets me know that maybe Rosie wasn't all the way right. I don't think it was a money situation. I definitely don't think it was a would trade, Nix for Watt. I don't think it was that, because you can't really say that Derek Watt did more than Rosie Nix. However, I didn't even know this. I knew he was a special teamer, but I didn't know that Derek Watt had as many tackles as he did. I think from what I'm hearing, and I need to fact check this, but I trust a lot of times. I definitely trust those good brothers over at SteelersDepot.com. Shout outs to Dave and Alex. They said that Derek Watt was like tied in tackles in the league, along with Medikevich. Medikevich led the league quite a few years in tackles on special teams. They said Derek Watt was right there. So if he did anything somewhat better than Rosie Nix, maybe you could say special teams production. However, Rosie Nix gave you special team production as well. Rosie Nix gave you great production as a fullback. So to me, I feel like it wasn't a trade situation like, well, we'll take him instead of you. We'll pay him and let you go. I think it was a health situation. That's just my gut feeling. And you guys are probably hearing my son and my wife up there talking, but it's all good, guys. We down in the basement. Yeah, that's just my assessment of it. Now let's talk about the other guy, Steven Wizener or something. I know I'm saying his name wrong, but y'all know who I'm talking about. And somebody can do a phonetic spelling for me, but the guard / center that we signed, he played with a couple teams, more recently known, I think he played at Kansas City. He was a Penn State guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about, man. We went out and signed him. He's an interior lineman. So once again, when you start talking about the draft, I don't know, or is he just maybe he's just like a backup plan and they plan to go in the draft and double dip. But this is what we said. You know what I mean? This is what we said, that the Steelers would definitely be looking for an interior lineman at some point, seeing that Ramon Foster retired. And here's another veteran that they pick up, man, that's been on some championship ball teams. I think he was on the Eagles team when they won, and then he just won with Kansas City. So I ain't mad at that at all. If he still got some juice, I did watch a little bit of his film. He seems to be like a nasty dog type of guy in the trenches, so I'm cool with that. Wizenewski, appreciate that, Robert, because I just saw that name and the letters just did like this. They all went together, and I was like, I'm gonna just call him Wiz. But yeah, man, so that's a position that we addressed. We'll see if he's able to compete for a starting job. We'll see. Perhaps he will, or I'm pretty sure the Steelers are maybe looking at kicking what's his name, Fowler over the guard, like Kenyon suggested last week. We'll see. But that's a position that has been filled now. Not necessarily going to be high on the list in the draft. Well, it could be. The Steelers might double dip. So let's get to the real big news. Well, the second big news. Steelers make a trade, man. Oh, hold on. Somebody did ask me about Mike Hilton. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that. So, yes, we now know that Mike Hilton got a tender put on him, as well as Matt Fowler. So both of those guys got tenders. If I'm not mistaken, they got a second round tender. So if another team, wants to sign them or match the offer or whatever, it's going to cost them a second round. That's probably not going to happen for Mike Hilton, even though Mike Hilton is a phenomenal player for us. When he does what he does well. Still a few question marks with him, man, in terms of his coverage. I think his coverage reduced. It took a step back last year, but I still like him as a ball player, man. He does a lot of things for the Steelers. Very solid tackler. I know I talked about tackling with Sean Davis, but when you talk about Mike Hilton, I trust Mike Hilton making the tackle more than most of the guys on our roster, especially in the secondary. And outside of obviously Minka. But yeah, Mike Hilton is a very important piece for the Steelers, but that doesn't mean that his value is that high elsewhere. So they virtually signed, but again, if we lose them, we're going to get second round compensation, so I'm cool with that. All right, so let's go to the next move. Chris Wormley. Pittsburgh Steelers make a trade with the Baltimore Ravens for defensive lineman, defensive end, Chris Wormley. Now that's very interesting, man, because again, I was expecting the Steelers to go dumpster diving, and no disrespect to the player, but that's kind of what they did with Tyson Alualu. He wasn't a super high, attractive free agent at the time when we got him, and he's been serviceable for us, right? So I was figuring that's what they're probably going to do with the D-line. They're going to probably get another piece there, to help complement Hargrave being gone. They didn't go nose. They went with another rotational piece. And Wormley probably can play all up and down that line, right? So now you got a pretty solid rotation with Tuitt, Haywood, Wormley, and you would assume Alualu will be back. That's not bad. And Bugs. So, they may have fixed that. A lot of us said maybe they would go D lineman late in the draft. They may have fixed that now. But that was a very interesting trade, man, because I was surprised it happened. If I'm not mistaken, the Steelers had to give up the 5th round pick of next year, 2021. And I want to say we acquired, if I'm not mistaken, somebody can fact check me, but I think we acquired Wormley and a 7th that season. And we're probably going to get the 5th round pick back anyway. Right? So it was a great trade. And that dude is talented. Again, we should know of him. We've seen him do some things against us. And I watched some of his tape where he's knocking balls down. I'm going to watch full games, though, because, I don't like to just watch the highlight reel. I like to call it the Instagram of highlights. Everybody just shows their highlight reel. I don't like to do that. I want to see a player at least watch a full game of a player, at least one full game. I try to watch at least 2 or 3, especially the college kids. But we know him. We know of him the last couple of years because of us facing off against the Ravens. And I think he's definitely going to have a role. So I ain't mad at that. Relatively young guy at that. I'm cool with that. But it was surprising to see the Steelers trade within the division. They don't usually do that, especially not with the Ravens. So they on the move. So finally, let's get to the big news. The Pittsburgh Steelers go out there and sign Eric Ebron. 2 years, $12 million. And of course, you already know that the deal is probably more favorable for the Steelers, where, you could probably cut ties after year 1 and it won't cost you that much. But I'm surprised, folks. I'm surprised that the Steelers went out and signed somebody of that caliber. Now, whether you like Ebron or not, he's still of a higher caliber. To me, it's the equivalent of when we signed Steven Nelson, right? Steven Nelson wasn't the quote-unquote best corner in the league, but you had to recognize him as being a good cornerback. And I feel like you could say the same about Eric Ebron. He might not be the best tight end, but Ebron does give you a presence vertically. You know what I mean? This dude, just think about it. Think about what we like about Vance McDonald in terms of just, pass receiving. Not getting into the blocking. McDonald, turned into a decent blocker for us. I know they said Ebron's blocking is a little questionable, but just think about what McDonald was able to do for us just in passing, in the passing game. You mean to tell me that Eric Ebron ain't going to be able to do that? You mean to tell me that Ben Roethlisberger ain't going to be looking over the middle for that kid? You mean to tell me that don't make us a little dangerous in 12 personnel? You got 2 tight ends out there, especially if you can get his blocking up. Now we can play that New England game. How the Patriots would run the 2 tight end sets. You don't know if they running or passing, and get that favorable matchup. We run 12 personnel and make the defense go in a more traditional defense. or play big and we get McDonald or Ebron on a linebacker, I'll take that every day. I'll take that every day of the week. Now, again, there are some concerns with his hands. Got the droppies sometimes, so does McDonald. But I seriously think things like that are fixable. Some guys might not ever have great hands, but I think you can fix that. I will take that versus what we had at tight end last year. And again, it's not really fair to judge McDonald last year or the other guys when we didn't even really have the best quarterbacks passing them the ball or utilizing them in the pass game like we know Ben Roethlisberger will do. It makes me a little excited, man. It does. I ain't gonna lie to you. It makes me a little excited. It makes me a little excited to see what we might be able to get out of a McDonald and Ebron. Excuse me. I know they're coughing. Everybody gets scared when somebody cough, right? It's just my normal stuff, man. Especially now with the pollen starting to come through. I can feel it every time I go outside. But I don't want to make light of the situation either, man. This COVID-19 thing is real, but you know, sometimes you got to crack a smile, guys. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at it, man. So I'm a little excited by the moves that they made. I was a little surprised at the Ebron move and definitely surprised by that trade. But clearly, man, the Steelers, you know, they're trying to do what they can. I wouldn't expect any more big names. I see the whole Jameis Winston and the Cam Newton. And come on, man. I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, there is a such thing as maybe the player realizes he needs to go somewhere where he could potentially become the man again in a couple years. There is a such thing as that. It's rare, but there is a such thing that somebody like Cam, I doubt it, but somebody might say, you know what? Let me go make some money, lay low for a minute. I know within 2 years I'll be starting again. I could be the franchise guy. But guys, we're talking about fantasy here. That ain't going to happen. Whatever it's going to cost to sign Cam Newton or Jameis Winston, I do not think the Steelers are willing to pay that. I just don't. Don't get your hopes up. Now, like I said, anything's possible. I didn't see the Ebron move, but when we're talking about a quarterback, I don't see that. I don't think the Steelers make a move like that. Definitely not Cam. If anything, maybe Jameis, because again, you're getting Jameis on that second go round as far as his contract. Younger, but I wouldn't expect it, man. I just wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't expect it. And I know people are going to dog Jameis Winston and say he sucks and all that. Man, look. Ryan Tannehill just made all that money. That's all I'm going to say. There was a time where a lot of people said he sucked. So, there you have it. But anyway, man, I think I talked enough. What have I talked for? Where's my timer at? Been talking for 28 minutes. So, let's go to the calls, man. I'm glad the queue is working. We got 2 calls in the queue so far. We got 803 and 651. I'm going to come to 803 first, and y'all know the routine, man. I feel like I don't have to always tell y'all, but just a formality. Keep it short, hit your point, and I swear I will respond to your point, and I will try to keep the response as short as I can. First up, area code 803. How you doing tonight, brother?
Doing pretty good. I hope everybody's doing out there. I hope everybody's being safe, practicing social distancing.
Absolutely.
Except for the playoffs. Yeah, we need to make the playoffs. Tonight, I want to talk about a couple of different things, featuring talking about possibly great job in re-signing Jordan Dangerfield. But for Terrell Edmonds, what are we really expecting out of him? Is he a better in the box type player that we possibly can replace Mark Barron? Because his coverage skills is right now still in question. Which leads me to inside linebacker prospects. I would love to hear Kenyon talk about inside linebacker prospects. We're not down 1, we're down 2, and we have to replace the depth at that position. Mm-hmm. And kind of leads me in possible signing the Jets free agent. I don't know whether he's a free agent. I don't know whether he's still out there or not. There were some talk about James Burgess. And the last point, you talked about Antoine Wingfield of University of Minnesota. His dad played for the Vikings back in the day. I think he would be an excellent pickup because he could possibly play behind Micah Fitzpatrick and learn at the same time. But he would help transform the defense. And it wouldn't surprise me that since we made all these necessary pickups, that we could possibly trade one of those picks down. We could load up on the offensive line and pick up the nose guard from Ohio State. The name escapes me right now. But it wouldn't surprise me if we kind of fixed up on the line a little bit more. Keep, added depth, because if we could have added depth on that defensive line, we won't wear out Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt. Thank you so much tonight.
Absolutely, man. Definitely thank you for calling all the time, man. Valued listener there. And I said value because he always comes through, man, and gives us some things to think about. So I'll hit those really, really quick. And then 651, I'll come to you. Yeah, I'm happy about the Jordan Dangerfield signing, man, because, again, sometimes as fans, we don't always pay attention to everything. It's not just what Dangerfield can do for you defensively, but you have to think about his special teams. And that's where he's a value. And it's only a 1-year deal, so we'll see what happens there. As far as Edmonds playing in the box, it's an interesting point. I wouldn't be against it. I think, though, if we were to do something like that, though, we definitely need to get another safety. Because that would sound like the Steelers would have another plan, as far as someone being a full-time strong safety, and Edmonds would come in and, play that hybrid safety linebacker in certain situations, kind of like, he would become more of the dime backer and there would be another guy. We'll see. Who knows if the Steelers are thinking that way. Safety is definitely a position that we need to look at, for sure. And I will definitely check out Wingfield. I know Kenyon has told me about Wingfield as well. I keep hearing about that Muse guy from Clemson. I need to watch some film on him. But I think the Steelers will address the safety at some point, especially since we didn't do it in free agency. See, now it's open. We can go look for a third safety. And I say third only because of depth chart purposes. Who knows? This guy could end up starting. But we'll look for that guy, I think, in the draft. And, yeah, Kenyon, definitely, man, jot that down. He wants to hear about some inside linebacker prospects. I wouldn't even know where to begin outside of, Simmons, which we know he ain't going to be there. But, yeah, good stuff, man. So let me hit the next caller. Area code 651. What you got for us tonight?
What's up, Sam, man? What's up, everybody? I just got a couple points since you didn't take calls last week, so I got a few of them. So
yeah, go ahead.
Bear with me. One, on the running back front, like I know it's not a necessity, but thinking about how we run out of the shotgun a lot when being with there, how we ran out of pistol, those type of lineups. Anthony McFarland, man, we don't like small running backs, but this kid is a firecracker, man, and running out of those sets. Snell barely makes it to the hole. He can't get to the edge. He's more of a, I'm going to get between these tackles. He might stick outside here, though, but this McFarland kid, if he sees that hole, he's gone. He can wave at it. He's out of here. I want to talk about the sign of Ebron, man. I think it's going to be a big red zone addition, man. I mean, that kid, 13 touchdowns 2 years ago with Andrew Luck there? I'm telling you, man. Only bad part about that is they might kill our Pittman dream. That's a big target, and most of our best receivers, 6'1", 6 feet, 5'11". So, we may have one, but I don't think it'll be Pittman if we got Ebron. This Wisniewski kid, he's all right. Well, he's not a kid, he's old, but I think he's more of a Hubbard piece where no matter what, we've got some kind of safety valve there where he can step in and guard or center at any time and allow us to be open to what we pick. So that's a good one. Derek Watt, he's not a replacement for Nix, but I just think Nix was just too injured, man. I think that knee was a lot worse than a lot of us thought. You hear knee injury nowadays, you think, that'd be back, but I don't think he's been able to recover from it, along with being injured, the last 2 years. So it's been pretty rough on him. And my last point, which I know you hate talking about Winston, and I agree.
I love him now. I'm a nose guy, so I'm always going to ride with him.
No. I know you love him. I'm just saying, as far as the long shot, I know it's a long shot, man, but he's the type of guy, if Mike Tomlin could reach out to him, he's that emotional type of player where Tomlin can set him right, man. And if he could just reach out and say, I mean, you think about it. I hate to make it a race issue as far as the league, but you look at Sam Bradford and you look at Osweiler, those guys got plenty of chances. They didn't even get close to what Winston did this year. But he's not getting a sniff around the league. About Tomlin, I'm looking at being, okay, we got him for what, next year at the most? Let me go talk to this guy. Come out here, prove yourself, watch Ben, get your mind together, reshape yourself. You'll be a free agent again. I will hope you resign with us. But take that chance, and he's out of here in, what, a year or two? Show him what you can do. You can get paid here, and you're going to grow up with a young team. All you guys are pretty much the same age, and I feel like Tomlin is the type of guy that can get him straight, but I don't know if they would even allow him to reach out to him. If that could happen, man, that would be big. But that's all, man. I'm sorry to hold it so long, but thanks a lot.
Nah, man, you good, man. I appreciate the call, man. I'll definitely address a few of those points, and then we'll get to the next call. Yeah, man, McFarland, I need to look a little more into him, but yeah, from what I saw, he's nasty. I saw somebody in the comments say they would love Akers, and I'm not being biased here, but Cam Akers is, whoo, buddy. I really like what I see out of him, man, and you know, it's not fair in terms of me watching film because I've watched a bunch of Florida State games, even live, so I know all about him. But I really like his burst, man. He gets to that second gear really quick, and he's strong. You know, his bottom half, he's very strong. You know, very rarely do you see guys take him down one at a time. You know, he usually breaks the first tackle. I love Cam Akers. J.K. Dobbins, man, you know, I know of him, but I got to watch even more. I did watch one game, but I want to see a little more to see what else he brings to the table. But I just wanted to speak on that really quick. Yeah, definitely running backs, man, and you're right. You're right. Let's not devalue the running back selection, especially, again, pay attention to who we have already addressed. In free agency, it keeps it open. It keeps it open for the Steelers to go running back, receiver, like whoever they want now. Because at first, everybody kept saying, we need O-line help, we need a tight end. We all were saying that. Now, you can afford to take the best guy. You never have enough receivers. You never have enough guys 1 through 4. So I'm cool with that. Same as with running backs. Listen, I like the guys we got, but if you can get somebody better, bro, that's only business. Somebody got to go. Let me see. What else? Ebron. Yep. You're right. That might hurt us in terms of getting a big receiver. We'll see how that plays out, but you're definitely right. I think about that too. When you got a big target like that can stretch the field, you know, is the value as high with a big receiver on the outside? So, yeah, that might hurt us in the Pittman sweepstakes. But Pittman, man, an all-around player. That dude has the attitude, the will to, the special teams. That's going to make him attractive if he's there. You know, if he's there at the right spot and the Steelers have them on their board, he's going to be an attractive person to pick. What else did you say? Let's speak about the Winston thing really quick. I would love that too, man. Again, we're talking about a fantasy world here, thinking that the players are going to abide by this, but it's possible. It's very possible that Tomlin and the staff would say, look, man, we want to give you another opportunity. Sit behind a Hall of Famer. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, you may get a chance to play. We don't know what's going to happen with Ben, et cetera, and maybe if you're at where you need to be, we might look to make you the franchise guy after Ben. All of that is possible. And I know, guys, don't go so crazy saying, oh, Jameis sucks. Don't say all of that. Don't say all of that. Because to me, Jameis Winston, if for as bad of a season that he had, is almost remarkable. How in the world? Think about this now. Let me just throw some numbers at y'all. How can you throw 33 interceptions? Or was it 30? I have them. One was 33, one was 30. Let's just say 30 were the interceptions. How can you throw that many interceptions but throw 33 touchdowns? Think about that for a minute. How can you throw 33 interceptions and still throw 33 touchdowns with over 5,000 yards. Who does that? Who leads the league in passing with 33 touchdowns and threw 30 picks? Look how many drives he took off the board. Now, that's nothing to applaud. I'm just saying, before you're ready to say that he's trash, some team is worth seeing if they can fix his woes. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if he'll ever be a great quarterback, but if you can get him in a backup capacity and work with him for a minute, he might turn out to be all right. We'll see. You know, he might turn out to be that kid at Florida State, man, that was a leader. We'll see. Got to do some growing up, though. I think he still has a little growing up he needs to do maturity-wise. Maybe this will humble him. So, let's move on to the next call, man. Area code 919. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, man? This is JJ, man. Just got a little question for you, man. First off, though, I gotta disagree with about taking the running back, with the first, with our first draft pick, man. I think, especially with the way the running backs are going out in the NFL, man, it's almost like these guys are, teams are just using them for 4 years, maybe 5, getting them out of there. They're not really getting a second contract. So if you were to draft the running back with the first draft pick that we have, he would have to play right away, or better yet, play next year and get James Conner out of there. But then, you only use him for 4 years. So if you're going to draft the running back, he's got to play right away so you can get the most out of him before you got to let him go after 5 years, basically. So that's why I don't really agree with that. And then basically my question for you, man, would be, if you really had to choose, man, what do you think our first draft pick is going to be, especially with these free agents that we just signed? It's almost like you can really pick, from wide receiver, maybe offensive lineman, or, with D lineman, you really got your choice of the litter, really. So my question is, if you had to choose, who you think, that the Steelers are going to draft? That's all I got for you, man.
All right, JJ, appreciate that, man. I'll definitely answer that question. I can't argue against your point about picking a running back at 49. You make a great point, man. Look at Derrick Henry. Look at Le'Veon Bell. I mean, I know it's a sore spot for some people, but it's the truth. Some of these guys, they workhorse them to death, and then, they franchise tag them, and, when they get 28, you start looking at them like, I don't know if you're the same guy. Look at Todd Gurley. Gurley gets released. That's crazy. After that contract that they gave him, like, aren't they kicking themselves in the butt? And it's good to see him bounce back, man. He goes back to Georgia, being able to play with the Hawks, play with the Falcons. That's cool. But I can't argue that point. I can't argue that. And I can see it on the flip side, too. Maybe we feel like we need another guy who needs to come in and play right now. They're not 100% on James Conner. Maybe they feel like they do want to do more running back by committee, which that kind of counters the point also. Excuse me. It almost counters the point because I think they do like Benny Snell, so you would think he would be in the mix. So, yeah, you're right. If I had to guess right now, man, I really don't know. I know it sounds like a cop-out by me saying best available, but I do believe that. I will say this much. I think it's going to be a skill position now. I think it would be receiver, running back, or somebody in the secondary, depending on what edge is there. Because that's another thing we have to pay attention to. Colbert did say he felt as if the edge class was deep. So I wouldn't be shocked if it's a guy, a mid, second to third round type of guy, projected guy that's sitting right there at 49, on as an edge, because we have to consider the Bud Dupree franchise tag and the Bud Dupree long-term deal. But it's hard to say, man. But I really do believe, I know, again, it sounds like a easy, safe answer, but I really believe it's going to be best available. And I think it will be a skill position. If I had to guess at it, wide receiver, running back, or DB is going to be at 49. Because I think at 49, if I'm talking best available, it's going to be one of those 4 positions. And I say DB as one. That could be a corner or a safety. So it's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, unless a miracle is there. I mean, if a guy, again, if a Jalen Hurts type of guy is sitting there, if Herbert is sitting there, I mean, something like that. Even though you don't think the quarterback position will be addressed, if somebody like that is sitting there and you can have him literally be a rookie for 2 years, you might do that. So, I don't know. That's just my quick thoughts. Real quick, man, before I grab the next call, I wanted to say shout outs to my guy, Rough House Boxing. He says, and thank you for the donation. He says, I'm seeing the 2020 version of Gronk and Hernandez coming. I'm tripping off the people who aren't excited about this signing. This could be dangerous. He's talking about Ebron. I agree. I look at the potential. Look at the potential of what Ebron can be with the right quarterback in the right situation. Will he ever be that? We don't know. But it's the same thing some people felt about with Ladarius Green, and we saw what Ladarius Green could be when he actually was on the field. We saw glimpses of it. So I say be patient. Let's see what happens. All right, so one more call, man. We'll take area code 609. What you got for us?
What's good, SimFBallCritic?
What's good, man? What's going on?
Man, staying quarantine and stuff. But
yeah,
a few prospects I want you to look at is the Uche guy from Michigan, the edge player, the one that played in the Senior Bowl. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on Ashton Davis, the free safety or safety from California, because that guy, he's gonna be something special. He's just out of this world. He's a baller. And take a look at the guy from Liberty University. I don't know his name, but you know what I'm saying. If he's available later on in other rounds, I think we should take him because you know what I'm saying. He could be like a diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying. So take a few look at that, and then not only that, what are your thoughts on if we were to give Bud Dupree like a long-term deal? You know what I'm saying? We still have to worry about T.J. Watt, and we still have to worry about James Conner and JuJu Smith-Schuster. So how do you think we're going to work that out and stuff? All right, that's it.
Man, good question. I think Kenyon mentioned that Uche, the Steelers have already met with him, I want to say at the Combine, so they probably got their eyes on him. And those type of things might be even more important now with the whole, quarantine situation, with the whole COVID-19 shutting operations down. You know what I mean? So they're going to have to rely on scouting and guys that they may have had an opportunity to speak with. So that could be very important, the way they're going to do the draft. This is why, guys, I'm saying don't be surprised if best player available is a running back or a receiver. One of those guys are not going to be signed, I don't believe. I don't think JuJu and Connor gets a deal. I don't think it happens. Who would I prefer to have at the moment? I'm going to be honest right here. I'm rolling with JuJu. I think in the end, JuJu is going to be more valuable. This is regardless of what people feel about JuJu in terms of if he's a true number one and all of that. We don't know. This year might tell us. But I don't think it's fair to rate him playing with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges. Now, with Ben Roethlisberger back, and let's just say Ben Roethlisberger is healthy all year and JuJu is the guy and JuJu still can't get off, then we know for sure. I like to give players as much chance as possible until they truly show me. When all of the cards are on the table, they have no handicaps, and they truly show that, nah, he ain't it, then I make a determination. But I think in the long run, JuJu is going to be more valuable than Connor, even if he's not the number one option. Because again, when was JuJu the most effective? When he wasn't the number one receiver. He did work. He ate very well when he was not the number one receiver. So even with that, let's say we draft somebody else and they become the number one, or I ain't mad at that. I still think JuJu is going to be a valuable piece with everything that he brings to the table on the field, his blocking, his toughness. Connor is just not healthy. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, man, and I don't know if 1 year is going to do that. I don't know. I would have to lean on right now saying Connor won't get the big deal. You know, and also what we say about running backs. You know, they're kind of disposable, right? So I think right now, don't expect JuJu and Connor to get the deal. Of course, TJ Watt is going to get paid. And there's probably a way to pay both of those guys. Because, again, remember, Ben Roethlisberger will be off the books after the 2021 season. That's when you're going to have to sign TJ Watt. TJ Watt right now is going into his 4th year. Pretty sure they're going to put the 5th-year option on him, so that holds that at bay. You could try to work a deal with Dupree, and then you get all your ducks in a row and you deal with the cap when it's time to actually sign TJ. And maybe Connor or JuJu gets the deal, and so forth. It's just a business thing. But they'll be able to work it out. They'll be able to work it out, because you got to think, at one time, man, we was paying, even though it was a rookie contract, there was a time when we had Antonio Brown, you know, making his money, and Bell was coming up, didn't make the big money yet, and you had Ben on the roster still, and you had Cam Haywood, and you had Stephon Tuitt. I mean, there's money to go around. You just have to pick and choose who gets the money. So I think we'll be fine when it comes to that. But all right, man, let's see. We do have one last call, man. One last call. This will be the final call of the night. So we'll grab area code 678, and then I'll spend a few minutes. I said I was going to spend more time with you guys in the chat, but obviously the phone calls took that role, and we only got about 8 minutes left in the show. So let's go ahead and hit the phone call. Area code 678. What you got for us?
Thanks for taking my phone call, Sam.
Sure, man.
Just a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
If you had an opportunity to take T.K. Dobbins or Jalen Hurts with number 49, who would you take, Sam?
Ooh. That's a tough one, man. Wow, I'll answer that while you're here on the phone, man. You know what? To be honest, yeah, I hate to say this because I know might get killed for it. I might take Dobbins, man. Only reason why is I think Dobbins has a faster chance to play. He's gonna play before Jalen Hurts, because we're assuming that, you know, I know it's wrong to assume, but we assume that Ben will be healthy his final 2 years. So we're not seeing Jalen until year 3. J.K. Dobbins could very well come in and play, maybe not start, but definitely be in the rotation, and probably. In that situation, it answers my guy's question from the last call. James Conner wouldn't get no contract in that case. So I might go with Dobbins, man. I might. If somebody forced me and I'm in the war room and they like, look, make a decision, I gotta go with who I can get on the field first.
All right.
I like Hurts though.
And I just want to say one more thing too, Sam. Steeler Nation, don't forget about Q-Jar Skipper. He's still on the team.
That's right. That is right.
Gonna be contributing next year.
I hope so, man.
But thank you. I know you want to get on that chat. You only got 8 minutes, but I appreciate you taking the phone call, y'all, man. Thanks for everything you do, too. You have an excellent program, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Thank you as well, man. It's you guys who make it. You know, without y'all, this show wouldn't be jack. You know, I'm the talking head, but I need heads to talk to. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the kind words. And, yeah, you put me on the spot right there, man, but I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid to say what I would do. You know, I probably would take my man Dobbins, man, because I think he's on the field faster. But, man, we got some donations in here, man. So I know that the applause is going to ring off, but I want to say it real quick. I appreciate Rough House Boxing. I believe this is another donation for him. And, yes, hit the like button like he's telling you to do, as well as Railfax. Shout outs to Railfax for the donation. I want to read his comment. I'm going to wait for a second because I know the alert is going to come on, and I don't want you guys to not hear me while the applause is ringing. So I will answer, and not answer, I'll read your comment there, Real Facts, after the alert goes through. Let's see. Let's get into the chat real quick while we wait for that. The Pokemon says, but if we can get Hurts, I think we need to snag him. There's the applause. And there was the applause. So now I will read Real Facts. I'll come to you right after Pokemon. He says, but if... another one. Oh, man. But you know what? Let me ask y'all. I can hear it in my ear. But y'all tell me, when the applause rings, can y'all still hear me pretty well? Or would you rather me wait for the applause to stop? Because I see applause is just going now. So y'all tell me. Maybe it's not too loud. But Pokemon says, but if we can snag Hurts, I think we need to snag him while we can. He could be a game changer when Ben retires. I don't disagree with that. Definitely don't. Real Fact says, what's up, Sim? Love the show. You know how it is. I'm the biggest Winston fan there is, but we saw how long this team rode with Landry Jones. We should expect the same with Mason Rudolph. Man, I'm going to throw you another round of applause for that. Couldn't agree more. Sometimes we have to always remember the the traditional Steeler way. I know they're doing some things every now and then that's a little non-traditional, and I love that. But there's always going to be some traditional Steeler principles there. They are going to ride with Landry Jones, Mason Rudolph, at least until his contract is up. So you might as well expect Mason Rudolph to be Ben Roethlisberger's backup for 2 years, and then they decide if they want to sign him to see if he can take over. That's probably what's going to happen. Now, what we might be talking about here is the number 3 quarterback, okay, as far as drafting, and maybe that guy beats out Rudolph. But if we had to expect it, I would say the same thing. It's probably going to be Rudolph. Let's see. Jesse Joy says, yep. I don't know, maybe you're talking about the question I asked. I'm not sure, but let me get back to some of you comments. Y'all hear my son? He's singing. Y'all hear him? 6-year-old. Larry Monick says Claypool 4.9 speed. Yeah. No. You mean 4.49, right? Yeah, he ran a 4.49. Jesse George says, so maybe they won't take tight end since Ebron is a big name. I agree with that. Jamal Washington says, y'all know about Christian Scotland. He's our tight end. He's like 6'. Yeah, Christian Scotland Williamson, I believe it is. You're probably going to see about the same that we saw this past season. I don't think there's real plans for him. Maybe they're trying to see what they can do with him, but don't expect him to surpass anybody who's currently on the roster. At most, maybe he surpasses Gentry, but I wouldn't expect him. Let's see what else we got here. Y Diggy says, now the question is, how much do we trust Randy Fichtner in utilizing Ebron and Vance combo properly? Man, great question. You know, I'm all hyped talking about 12 personnel, but I don't know. Is Randy thinking the same way? I hope. Because I can foresee a situation where that play action play, man, that Grimble fumbled on. Beautiful, isn't it? And it's worked both times that we ran it. We ran it this past season too. That play has worked. So can you imagine that being Grimble coming across the middle, or Grimble being the decoy and Vance is coming across? You know what I'm saying? The opportunity is there. Rough House says, just because he likes the sound of the applause. I appreciate the donate, Rough House. And again, y'all, let me know, man, is when the applause rings, can y'all still hear me clearly, or is it a little too loud? You know, because I try to stop talking during that time, but if I don't need to, I won't. Mason is trash. He cannot feel the rush with and have an average arm. I feel you, Droz. But like I said, man, Give him some time, man. 2 years in, and he might end up never being great. I think he has the tools. I think a lot of it is in his mind. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but physically he has the tools to be a good quarterback, right? But if this ain't right, if that ain't right, and he ain't got that internal clock, and he's skittish in the pocket, he'll never be great. And so he's gonna have to work on that. He's gonna have to develop that. But like I said, it's not like we have to rush to see him be great. He's going into year 3. So let him either be good or not. Leonard Green says, we got Matt Canada as our OC. No, he's not the OC. He's a quarterback coach. Jay says, I think another thing is Rudolph was put in a very tough situation. No JuJu, no Connor, no quarterbacks coach. And he did show flashes of potential. He did. The last game we saw him play, he was all right in the Jets game until he got banged up again. Came in and saved the day. Ain't that crazy how the season went from Ben going down, Rudolph being thrown into it, Rudolph playing against Seattle, and then playing against the Ravens and doing semi-okay, gets hurt. Duck comes in, shows flashes against the Ravens. Duck comes in, manages the game for us, gets some wins, right? Duck stinks it up eventually. Then Rudolph comes back and stinks it up. Well, Rudolph stunk it up first, came back, stunk it up against Cleveland. Duck comes back in, has some decent games, made that outstanding throw and that hook up to James Washington against Cincinnati, doing all right. Then he started sucking. He starts stinking it up bad. Rudolph comes in the Jets game, looks like we're driving, getting our way back into the game. He goes down again. It's crazy how those two guys both were benched by each other and both looked good coming off of the benching. Hilarious. Couple more comments, guys, and then we'll be out of here. Explore Your World 2019 says Metakevich was a 4-phase special teams player who offered nothing on defense. He was replaced by D. Watt, a 4-phase special teams player as well, who was also a pass-catching fullback, an upgrade. I ain't mad at that. I could probably agree with that. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that whatsoever. Let's see what else. Jarrell Williams says, I trade JuJu for a number 1 now with the receivers coming out. Don't expect that to happen. I just wouldn't expect that to happen. Steve Williams says, that's a lot of wide receiver, Kenyon. I don't know, about 7. It's a lot of them have first-round talent, but a few gonna fall to the second round. Yep, I agree with that. Ladell Hirodi says, 1 draft pick that is going to happen is Tanner Muse. Yep, I think so as well. That's why I'm actually going to watch some film with him, and so I don't forget, I'm going to watch him tonight. Tonight, in fact. Last 3 comments. Darren Dalton says, Sim, you think Matt Canada will have any kind of influence on the offense? I mean, it feels the sense of him to have, it makes sense for him to have some input with him specializing in offense, or is Fiedner too shallow? I hope not. What I hope happens, I hope he has the same type of influence that we think Terrell Austin is having on Keith Butler. The Steelers, I don't think, are going to demote anybody. So Randy Fiedner is still going to be the face, but I think Canada will have some influence. Let's see. Mr. ABS says fans are caught up with the youth movement across the NFL and wanting their quarterback now. Understand that. But we need to acquire a pick or a high first-round pick to have the chance. We are always competing. Fully agree with that, my man. Kenya says, actually, his old coach may draft him to Carolina because he already coached him. He has targeted him. So Mims will be gone. Yeah, Mims probably going to be up out of there, especially after his showing at the Combine. Another guy that I watch, man, I'm going to watch some more of him, Justin Jefferson. I really like that kid, too. I really like him a lot. And that Rager kid, I forget which one of you guys told me to watch him. Boy, that dude got some speed, don't he? He got a burst. I don't remember what he ran in the 40, but on that field, yo, when he get an open field, he is ghost. He's out of there. And also, the Darnay Holmes guy, the cornerback, I did see him returning some punts too. Y'all know the Steelers and Tomlin likes guys who are versatile. It's going to be interesting at 49, man. But let me go ahead and get out of here, guys. I've gone over my hour just a little bit. My little boy up there is singing his heart out, so I'm sure you guys don't want to hear much more of that. But before we go, man, I just want to thank you guys for coming out. You know, we're all at home right now, and I hope you guys are abiding by that. You know, this is a tough time that we're dealing with. Hopefully you guys are not being affected as far as where you work. If you are, my prayers go out to you guys, man. I hope everything will be okay. But just try to be as safe as you can, man. Just don't be crazy out there. Don't be crazy out there. That's my only, you know, any influence I can have on you guys. Just don't be crazy. Don't be silly. Don't go in huge crowds if you don't have to. And it's not about you, right? It's not necessarily about you. You know, you could be one of the people walking around asymptomatic, don't feel nothing, carrying it around, but you pass it off to somebody's uncle or grandma or your mom, or you understand what I'm saying? So you have to self-quarantine. Be safe. You don't want yourself to get sick, and you don't want to inadvertently pass it on to somebody else who would get really sick. So just do the normal stuff, man. Wash your hands, man. You know, 15 to 20 seconds, soap and water. If you're out and about, use sanitizer, but mostly soap and water. Wash your hands. Don't have your hand in your mouth and all that kind of jazz. Just be safe. Be safe out there. But outside of that, man, before you guys go, if you haven't already, do this. Thumbs up, subscribe, notification button. All right, turn on your notifications so you know when the videos are streaming. Also, if you would like to donate, like so many of you all have done tonight, right here in the chat, there's a $sign in the bottom left corner, I believe, might be the right corner. That's how you can donate on YouTube. If you prefer Cash App or PayPal, I have those options as well. Check the link, not the link, but in the description. That information is right at the top. So I want to thank you in advance for that. But outside of that, again, man, hope everybody is safe. Send me some names. Listen, here's my email address. It's very simple. It's my name on here. SimFBallCritic@gmail.com. Send me a list of names that you guys want me to check out. And if I get some of the, a lot of requests, I'll probably go with the majority. I'm definitely going to look at the Muse kid, look a little more at Dobbins. I want to check out a few more running backs. I want to check out a few more receivers. I want to check out a few more safeties, because I think safety is a slept-on position that we're not thinking about. That's probably going to happen. But shoot me some names, man, and I promise I'm going to look at the film. Providing nothing else major happens in free agency, next week we should be able to get our resident scout on the line and let Kenya throw us some names that we might not be familiar with that we can all look at. But outside of that, man, I'm happy with what the Steelers are doing. And I just hope that, all of the stuff that's going on now can get out of the way before the season starts, man, because it's already going to be crazy. Nobody at the draft. So, but outside of that, again, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. If there's any breaking news that we have to talk about, I will do a special show during the week. But outside of that, man, be safe, stay healthy, God bless, and thanks for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.